Hey, comic lovers, EMoney, the old man, and Thor the Dog of Thunder with you again. Hey, buddy. Hey, you been good? You been good this week? So, I haven't had a chance to take him out this past week because, I told you guys I've been working on a movie the last week, and it's been a lot of fun, working with a lot of really cool people. I worked with Nolan Gould, who a lot of you know from Modern Family. I worked briefly with Morgan Fairchild. I only worked with her for one day, but the coolest of all, a man by the name of Mr. Tony Todd, who most of you know from Candyman fame, as well as a ton of other stuff.
Did the voice for who? Artemis Prime?
Oh, he's done the voice of all kinds of stuff. I think he was Megatron in Transformers. He's also done the voice of Darkseid. Also, he is doing the voice of Venom in an upcoming video game. And he did a really cool thing with one of the makeup girls one day, where she has a Venom tattoo on her arm.
Why?
She likes Venom, I guess. And she actually recorded a TikTok with Venom, and Venom, he holds her arm up and he does his best Venom impression, wagging his tongue, and then he does the line, "We are Venom," and Tony Todd does that hell of a lot better than I do, and it was really cool to watch. Then, the last day I worked, Tony, I went to him during lunch and I said, "Hey, check this out." And he's like, "What's this?" And I say, "You and me 10 years ago." And so show the picture right here. Tony looks at it, he's like, "Get the hell out of here." And so we talk back and forth, and he's like, "Where's this taken?" I say, "Scarefest in Lexington." Hey, buddy. And he's like, "So now you're in the business." I say, "Yep, I'm in it." So then later that day, he says, "We should take another picture and do this every 10 years. And I'm like, "Hell yeah." So here's the second picture. So, I'd have to really think about it, but status of, coolest guys I've worked with, Tony Todd, easily in the top 5. So, that was a really cool experience to have. So, be sure to, I'll give you guys more details as the movie comes closer to coming out. All right? All right, so today we have some stuff about entertainment news, comic book movies, and also some Star Wars news. Also, hey, buddy, you're out of the shot. You're out of the shot. Don't be getting lazy. People want to see you, okay? Then we're going to have our comic book reviews and previews. We're going to have our preview of what you can expect at this weekend's pop-up comic shop. And then we're going to do something special with Thor here. All right? All right. Remember, everybody, I am what you made me. This is Back Issues. All right, comic lovers. So before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of some of this comic book news, or some of the comic books we're going to review later in the show. All right, so there's one last thing about Thor here for now. I might be taking him somewhere special this coming Thursday, somewhere we haven't been before, and maybe some new experience for Thor, huh? You think you like that? Would that be cool?
You don't know.
Yeah.
If it's a new experience, how does he know if it's going to be cool if he like it?
All right, we'll see.
You don't know.
Okay, now on to today's comic book and entertainment news. All right, so if you guys have been watching the new Obi Wan Kenobi show, I've been talking about this the last few weeks because it's been bothering me. I've been talking about how in the second episode of Obi Wan, Reva runs her lightsaber through the Grand Inquisitor, apparently killing him.
You got this thing about the Grand Inquisitor,
well,
don't you?
This directly contradicts what fans saw in Star Wars Rebels, where the Grand Inquisitor seems to die during a duel with Kanan. So the question becomes, has Obi Wan Kenobi broken canon? Thor, I'm doing something here, okay? All right. So here is an excerpt from Vanity Fair's recent interview with Obi-Wan head writer Joby Harold. The interviewer asked, in episode 2, Reva drives her lightsaber into her superior, the Grand Inquisitor, yet we saw him meet his end in a different way in the animated Rebel show. Is there a break in canon here? To which Joby replies, as you know, we would never break canon, so that's all I can say. Canon is everything.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the Grand Inquisitor is a title.
Mm-hmm.
You kill one of them, don't they just promote another guy? And
Well,
call
the
him
thing, I mean, that would be fine, except that the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels and the Grand Inquisitor in Obi Wan looks like the exact same guy.
Same race.
Right. So,
I don't know why you have such a huge issue with
which, maybe that's his twin brother or something. We don't know yet. They haven't said. All right. So, and then the interviewer says, so fans should wait to see where that's going before judging it as a mistake or a retcon. And Joby replies, I can't speak beyond that. We all know where we're going in the show based on different films and TV shows. So anytime you can undercut that, pull the rug on that, have a reversal, and then he kind of trails off. In other words, it sounds like this was, as expected, a deliberate misdirect to get fans talking. Taking the Grand Inquisitor off the table for at least a few episodes gives Reva a chance to shine, and we're sure that the villain will make a surprise return, or we hope he is, after managing to survive his injury. So they're going under the assumption that he didn't really die there.
Well, it could be that they screwed up, and now they're just trying to cover it.
I can't imagine they would screw up that bad with a character who so obviously is apparently dead from Star Wars Rebels. I can't imagine they would screw that up.
Maybe they didn't watch Rebels.
Okay, that would just be stupid if they didn't do that. All right, so episode 4 of Obi Wan. This could all be moot by the time this thing airs because the Grand Inquisitor could come back in episode 4, which is out today. So if the Grand Inquisitor is back in episode 4, then please disregard everything we just said. All right, so moving on. So a couple months ago, the Sony/Marvel movie Morbius came out, and it had, at best, mixed results. Most would call it a flop.
It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it could have been so much better.
Okay. Well, it is regarded as a critical and commercial flop when it was released in theaters a couple months ago, but Sony Pictures attempted to capitalize on the fact that it's now become a viral sensation, and it has apparently backfired. It's badly backfired, actually. The studio clearly confused ridicule with people actually wanting to watch the movie, something that's evident with these box office numbers I'm about to give you. Hey.
Focus.
All right. Sony re-released Morbius this past weekend in over 1,000 theaters, with the Spider-Man spinoff grossing $280,000 during that time.
Ooh.
That brings Morbius's box office total in the U.S. from $73.3 million to $73.6 million. Hardly helping Sony to break even on a movie they've already lost a lot of money on.
That didn't do a lot.
No. So, seems like a miscalculation on Sony's part, as people poking fun at the movie clearly isn't an indication they actually want to go and watch it again. So, one critic explained, Jared Leto's transformation makes for a compelling viewing, but the living vampire can't elevate a disappointing story that serves as a powerful, dare we say terrifying reminder that Spider-Man is better off and safer in the MCU with Marvel Studios.
And also, Morbius is better off with Spider-Man in the movie.
Exactly. So, best of luck to Kraven the Hunter when it comes out in January of next year.
Kraven had a couple really good story arcs, but
doing all these
Spider-Man was
stories
in it.
without Spider-Man, I don't know. I mean, they had some moderate success with the Venom movies, so now they're trying Morbius, and then now they're trying Kraven, and it's like, how many failures until they decide, hey, we should probably, work with Marvel a little more on these things and actually have Spider-Man in the stories.
I don't get it. Don't
Yeah.
they still have the rights to Spider-Man?
I mean, yeah, they got that deal working with Marvel, and so I don't know, Thor. I just don't know. All right, so then moving on to our final story. Speaking of the MCU, when it was announced that Ryan Reynolds' Wade Wilson would make his MCU debut in a third Deadpool movie for Marvel Studios, fans assumed that the Merc with the Mouth would be toned down a few notches in order to adapt to a PG-13 world. We later learned that the project was being developed with an R rating in mind, but there was still a lot of skepticism. I mean, just how violent would Disney allow one of their superhero movies to get?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, They've had some pretty massive success outside of the MCU. You know, the second highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. So, you know, wouldn't want to mess with that formula, you wouldn't think.
Wouldn't think.
Well, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who have writing credits on the first 2 films, are now working on the third with director Sean Levy and have shared a very positive update with Den of Geek. It's a thrill, Reese said, bringing the character into the MCU. It's an absolute thrill to have the band back together, to have a new backdrop in the MCU with new characters, new villains, that kind of thing. You know, it's never a marriage we necessarily saw coming, Fox and Disney. That was an external thing from our storytelling process. And we're absolutely finding the serendipity and the gold in that situation, or we're trying to. As for whether Kevin Feige or any other execs attempted to curtail, hey, where are you going?
Thor.
I'm in the middle of a story here.
Thor, looky, look. Thor, look. Hey, look. Thor, look. Get your butt back over here. Come on,
Sure.
get over here. Come on.
Spin it around.
Spin it around.
There you go. All right, good
Sit.
point. All right. Whether Kevin Feige or any other execs attempt to curtail some of the R-rated content to make the film more family-friendly, it doesn't sound like fans have anything to worry about. They've been very supportive with regard to that, Reese added. Now, when it comes to a particular joke, if we cross a line, maybe we'll hear at some point, maybe not that joke. But I think they've been incredibly supportive of what we're doing because obviously we were doing it separate from them for a long time. And I think they've seen the success that they've had, and they've had their own greater success. So hopefully it'll be a marriage made in heaven. But we've definitely got their support, and that's a great thing to feel. So,
if they do it right, this next Deadpool movie should just be over the top insanity. Some of the guest appearances they could have, some of the characters they could introduce in the MCU. Why screw it up with PG-13?
exactly. So the writers wouldn't divulge any details on the plot,
They shouldn't.
with Reese joking that the pair are working on the script in a secret vault under an ocean somewhere.
The script should be done by now.
All right, so Deadpool 3 is currently in pre-production with filming hoping to start later this year or early 2023. All right, so that's going to do it for our entertainment news.
You ready to go look at comic books?
I'd say we're ready to go look at comic
Let's go
books.
look at comic books.
Let's head back inside. Not you. All right, comic lovers. So I know I sound like a broken record when I say this to those of you who are regular viewers, but we grade these comics on a 5-shield rating system. We give them each 2 scores, one for writing and story, and then the other one for artwork. And then we combine the 4 scores together to give it an average overall score. All right, so we have 2 mentions for this week. First up,
from Marvel Comics, this is the second story arc, isn't it? Yeah.
pretty sure, yeah.
This is Alien number 12.
All right, so we have the settlers, farmers who have come into this planet to settle into a new life, and now that's how the story started out. But now they're being
Victims.
Yeah, now they're being chased by aliens and trying to get grabbed by the face huggers and all that stuff. And this has been a long-term plan by the Whaling Corporation. Just one of many. Whaling Corporation. They have no value of human life, and they're not afraid to play the long game. So they're a bunch of jackasses. So the farmer settlers, they get wise to what's going on based on powers of deduction and also what the spy android told them, and they managed to get a leg up on the old Whaling Corporation, and it's actually a fairly satisfying ending to this story, so I recommend you check it out. So Aliens number 12 by Marvel ends up with
3.5 shields after we rounded it up.
3.5 out of 5. All right, next up.
All right, next up, the conclusion to the Shadow War saga, Shadow War Omega.
All right, so remember last week I told you guys that the fake Deathstroke is revealed, and you never would have figured out who it was. Well, we found out that the fake Deathstroke was none other than Geoforce. Most of you are probably wondering, who the hell is Geoforce? Well, I'll
be honest, I know who it is because I read the original run of The Outsiders, but he hadn't been around for a long time, so a lot of people out there don't know.
Well, apparently he has a vendetta against the entire Al Ghul family based on... you remember how in Batman vs. Superman, Bruce Wayne had a vendetta about Superman from Man of Steel, something that he didn't even realize that he had wronged him in that way, and he was totally oblivious to the fact that he had this vendetta against him, right? Well, Geoforce was kind of Bruce Wayne in this situation. Like, they didn't even realize that they had upset him, and they probably didn't care in either case. But yeah, it went kind of like that. So Geoforce hashes a long-term plan to take revenge on the entire Al Ghul family, and we see it play out in this issue. So Shadow War Omega, the conclusion to the Shadow War story, comes in at
3 shields.
3 shields out of 5. All right, so we have those 2 mentions. Now on to our top 4, because we have some ties this week.
Yeah, some ties, imagine that. So this week there was a 3-way tie for second place. So we went old school, and EMoney and I pitched coins, where you each toss a coin, so you can get closest to the wall. Whoever's the closest gets both coins. EMoney never played that before. I have. I was the victor. So, if you don't like the order that places 2, 3, and 4 show up, tough. I won.
All right, so what do we got?
All right, so coming in at number 4, a book that I thought from Image that started out really slow about a bunch of kid vampires, Little Monsters, but this is number 4 and it's gotten better.
All right, so Little Monsters, it's a post-apocalyptic world, and we follow this small community of kid vampires, and they've all kind of been isolated to this one area for a long time. Yeah. And they don't age because they're vampires, and they've been feeding off of rats and other animals for a long time, until one day one of them discovers a human walk into their area, and they attack him, and they start feeding on him. And when they've been feeding on animals for so long, they feed on a human, and it's like seeing colors for the first time, and they like that. So they decide that there's got to be more than one of them out there. So they leave their area and they go looking. Well, it starts off well enough, but then they discover that human beings they don't just lay down and die like the first guy did, and sort of a hard lesson for these little vampires. So artwork, it's okay. I mean, it's mostly black and white, sort of a minimalist sort of artwork.
There's a little red.
Little red for blood for dramatic effect, but story pretty well done. Little Monsters number 4 ends up with
3.5 shields.
3.5 shields out of 5.
All right, next up, number 3. Annuals usually kind of suck, but when you take the annual and you incorporate it into the ongoing story, it's just like you got another maybe longer issue. Which was the case here, Batman 2022 Annual.
All right, so in this story, it starts off where, if you've been reading Batman, you know that Bruce Wayne lost his fortune a while back, and he doesn't have the resources that he used to, so he cannot keep running Batman Incorporated like he did, and also keep up with his duties in Gotham. So he decides he's going to hand over control to Batman Incorporated to Ghostmaker. And one of the first things that Ghostmaker does is he is going to divide the members of Batman Incorporated into local and international divisions. And basically what it means is the locals, you go back to your hometown and, you can continue to, maintain order like you have been and, just keep on keeping on. If you get picked for international, basically it means you join up with a team. And you respond to emergencies over the all over the world, and you insert yourself like a strike team.
Kind of like a poor man's Justice League.
Yeah, sort of like that. So he doesn't make any bones about it. He tells them straight up it's sort of a minors and major leagues of Batman Incorporated.
Well, that's insulting.
Yeah, that can be taken pretty insulting to members who are chosen for local. But anyways, he takes members that he has chosen for the international team, and he tells them to, we're going into a...
first mission, right out the gate.
Yeah, first mission, investigating a missing village in what's kind of seems like a Russian-type country. Kezbek is the name of the country. Feels Russian-y. So, and the story goes from there with them investigating the missing village. So, pretty well done here. Interesting story. Batman Annual number 2022 ends up with
3.5 shields.
3.5 shields out of 5.
And a new book for us, number 1 from Image, The Closet.
All right. So The Closet, it starts off, basic like any other family, where a young couple is having, marital issues. They have a 3 or 4 year old daughter.
Yeah.
And, they're moving, and, he's at a bar drinking and, pouring his soul out to the bartender about everything that's going wrong. And he gets back home, and their little girl says that, there's a monster in her closet, like, a lot of kids say. So, they take her to her room, and they leave the light on in the closet and everything. Now, normally, I probably would have given this a 3 for artwork because... the artwork was like, okay, passable. But there's a scene in here where the little girl is like, falling to sleep and, looking at her closet while she's drifting off. The way this scene unfolds in the artwork, there's no dialogue, it's all artwork. The way the scene unfolds, it had me on the edge of my seat. I was like taking in, every frame. Normally most, pages without any dialogue, I can flip through it really fast. But this, I was soaking it in, and had me on the edge of my seat here. So that's why I give it a higher score for artwork. So I highly advise you to check it out if you haven't already. The Closet number 1 by Image Comics comes in at
3.5.
3.5 out of 5.
Number 1 spot, a book that's usually in our top 3 or 4. From Image is The Scorched, number 6.
All right, so there's some dissension in the ranks in The Scorched. Spawn...
Pretty much always is.
Yeah. Well, Spawn, who is not a member of The Scorched, tells them that there is a traitor in their midst, and Spawn is trying to get him to, spill the beans, and he's like, hey, you figure it out. And he pretty much breaks down each member's power set and also their motivations for being here, and tells them, you do what you got to do, and I'm about to do what I'm going to do. And he sends one of the members into limbo, and why he does that, I'm not sure. He says it's your new prison. I don't know if he's punishing him or interrogating him, but hopefully the motives will play out in the next issue. So Scorched number 6 by Image ends up with
4 shields after we round it up.
All right, our number 1 pick this week. So, see, so Image had a pretty good showing this week, didn't it? So 1, 2, 3 out of 4 in the top 4, and didn't have, what was the second one in the mentions?
DC.
Okay, so yeah, so 3 out of 4 in the top 4. That's pretty damn good, I'd say. All right, so what's coming out today?
All right, back to another big week.
All right.
And some of the interesting things look to be Dark Crisis number 1, one of those big huge story arcs that DC likes to do. Also, Flashpoint Beyond, another big major storyline. I know you didn't care much for it, but the Scotty Youngblood Twig #2 comes out. Looking forward to that. And the one that you look forward to more than me is Nyx.
Okay.
NYX, whatever.
Yep.
#7 comes out. You got Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor #1. And the Frank Frazetta Death Dealer #2.
Okay.
So there's some good stuff coming.
All right. So get them at your local comic book shop today. All right. So that is it for our top comics this week. Now let's head into our preview for this weekend's pop-up comic shop. All right. So this weekend is our pop-up comic shop. And
every weekend pop-up comic shop.
Yeah, if you've never been, we have a comic book shop right here in my dad's garage where we sell comic books, toys, action figures, DVDs, Blu-rays, a lot of stuff that you would expect to find in a comic book shop, hence the name. So we have comic books starting at $1, a few 50 cents, but I'll say we start at $1 and we go up from there. A lot of great key comics that a few of them I'm about to show you here in just a second. Also, we have, different kinds of toys, brand new in the box, mint in box toys to sell you guys. A few loose ones too, if you just want to buy a few to sell your kids, to give your kids to play with. You sell your kids the toys. That's interesting parenting tactic. All right, so we're gonna have toys, action figures, and also plenty of DVDs and Blu-rays to sell. All right, so. Our little preview this week, we have, I have a couple of #1s to show you guys. So first up, we have, if you're a Todd McFarlane, collector kind of person, we have, first up, I have Spider-Man #1 from the 90s. They came out in 1990, okay.
This is considered the green version.
Then I have another Spider-Man #1.
The silver version.
And then finally I have another Spider-Man #1.
The gold, considered to be a second print.
All right, so we're going to have all these available at the shop this Saturday. Take your pick, or pick all of them, whatever you want to do. All right, then I have a few more #1s for you. Speaking of Spider-Man, I have another Spider-Man #1 for you. Not Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. This is from 1981, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends #1. All right, that's it for Spider-Man. Then I have from Star Comics, Masters of the Universe #1. And we have a fairly good collection of Saturday morning cartoon type #1 comics.
I know we have an Ewok.
Yeah, we have an Ewok. We have Shogun Warriors we recently got #1, a couple other things. So a lot of Ninja Turtles as well. So come check that out. Then if you're a speculator and you anticipate She-Hulk comics to be going up soon, what with the Disney Plus show coming out in the near future, Sensational She-Hulk #1 gonna be available. All right, so we're gonna have all these plus hell of a lot more. 7002 Brookbend Way this Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in
Rain
Louisville.
or shine.
Right, rain or shine. And if you're worried about people, getting the drop on you and getting to the stuff before you do, just know we have a strict no holds and no early birds policy.
That garage door opens at 8:00.
Yeah, so if you're there at 8 a.m., you're going to have first dibs on everything we have available. All right? So there is our comic books. Now, for a couple of our toys we're going to have available. So, let you guys know we have a really great collection of Marvel Legends available. First, on the low end, we have a lot of Marvel Legends that the previous owner, he sliced open the blister and he pulled out the comic book.
Everything else is still there.
Yeah.
And still mint in a not mint package.
Right. So all of those are available at a discounted price. They're going to be between, $10 to $15, somewhere in there. So we're going to have those, and then we have other Marvel Legends stuff, and they start, mint in box, and they're going to be around like $25 and up. Just like this one. This Marvel Legend is from the Giant Man series. This is Warbird right there, and that's going to be available Saturday. Also, we have a lot of Spawn action figures that are going to be available, and we had a collector come in last week, and he bought a few of them, but we still have plenty available for you guys, including this thing. This is sort of an oddity. This is Manga Spawn. And I don't know if Manga Spawn was ever in a comic book.
Looks like a Zord to me.
Yeah, it looks like a cross between Spawn and a Zord. So, you know, out of Todd McFarlane's Twisted Mind, I guess. So we're going to have that and, you know, plenty of other, you know, more normal Spawn stuff available this week. And then finally, you know, I told you guys we have Marvel Legends. We have a couple of box sets of Marvel Legends, including this one. This is Marvel Legends Young Avengers. And it has Iron Lad, Patriot, Hulkling, and Asgardian. And these are all, yeah, they were all on the cover of Young Avengers #1. And there is actually a reprint of Young Avengers #1 available in the box set here. So you're going to have that available for you on Saturday. All right. So that is our preview. Like I said, we have plenty of stuff to choose from. Come check us out, and keep an eye on Marketplace and Craigslist for our listings, and you can see a more comprehensive list of all of our comic books and pictures of the toys we're going to be selling this weekend. All right. Now let's. I think that's done for our preview. Now let's head back up into the garage with Thor. All right, comic lovers, are back out here in the garage with Thor. So we've done a couple series of challenges with Thor over the last few weeks. So as you know, Thor likes to eat his treats. So now I'm wondering what happens when I eat Thor's. This is the Doggy Challenge video of the week. I like that ear. I like that ear. That's a tasty looking ear. Is it a good looking ear? I want to try it. Wow, that's a good ear. No, I'm not giving it back.
There is something innately wrong with you.
What about your other ear? Is it just as good? Mmm, crunchy. Mmm. What about your tail? Does your tail taste good? Gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it.
You know, if you push it too far, he's going to eat you. You see? Hey,
No.
I've got nothing to do with it. You ready? He's being silly. You ready to get back to work?
It's gonna grow back. It's okay.
Thor. Come on. Turn around. Sit.
Dogs of thunder heal very fast. It's okay.
You ready? You want it? You want it? I guess you want it. Oh, mercy. Stay here.
Oh, now you're gonna eat me back, huh? You gonna eat me back?
Told you.
All right, so that was our doggy challenge video of the week. Did you have fun? Yeah? It's okay. Your ears grew back fine. You know, they're all good now, okay? All right, so that is our show. Hope you guys had a good time. Don't forget to check out our pop-up comic shop this Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to have comics, toys, action figures, DVDs, Blu-rays, all kinds of fun stuff for you guys to check out, and all kinds of keys. Check out our Craigslist and Marketplace ads for all those details. All right, we'll see you guys, and don't forget our reaction video to episode 4 of Obi Wan on later today, if you're watching this on Wednesday. All right, see you guys next time. Excelsior.
True believers, to quote Pink Floyd, is there anybody out there